Okay, this is the third in our Zenoptic series of webinars this summer, where we are presenting Design the Org You'll Thank Yourself For Later. So we're designing the organization that in the future will be like, yes, I am so glad I invested all the time and effort into doing this. Even if you're on your own at the moment, so even if you're a solopreneur and you're working for yourself in your own company, but have plans to grow and get more people into the business, or you have a team already, or you're already outsourcing some things, which is fantastic. All of these things will be relevant for you. Just have a look at organizational structure and talent management. And again, talent management includes any consultants you use, even just on an ad hoc basis, or any VA you might have, or anything like that. So this will go through structure, scale, and most importantly, sanity. It's ideal for founders, solo operators, and small teams ready to grow with clarity. And I made that rhyme on purpose, not really. So welcome, who am I? So my name is David and I'm the founder of Optics. Optics is a business that helps you with your systems and processes and procedures, all of that really good fun stuff that you may not want to do or have the time to do, but we'll do it for you and show you the return on investment by doing so, where you can save loads of time, money, and future-proof your business so you can grow and scale sustainably. Why this matters to you, as I've already said, designing an organization that you'll thank yourself later for saves you time in the future. So designing it and building the foundation now is going to save you so much time, effort, headache later on in your journey when you get further down the road and are super successful. So the key takeaways, growth stage, organization structures and reporting lines, how we're going to build those now, ready for later. Recruitment and onboarding systems that scale. So even if that is getting a consultant in or it's getting your fully fledged team in as well. And then continuous development and career pathing frameworks. So how you're going to continue to make the person who you get in better. Again, even if they're a consultant, how you're going to make them better to continue to help your business grow so they're actually adding more benefit all the time, as well as them getting something from it as well. So why structure matters, even if you're solo. So structure gives you leverage, even if you're the only employee. So structure is always adding value to your business, and that value is like intrinsic value, where you can have a look at it on actual money. So someone coming along wanting to buy your business, structure means that you'll be able to get a better profit margin percentage, therefore add more money to the value of your business. But it also means in any essence, if you've got a team or if you're the only person, it gives you leverage to be able to build off of. So you're better set up to be able to continue to build and go and grow. Clarity now equals freedom later. So make sure you have well-defined roles and responsibilities, means that later on you can delegate and go, here you go, this is all for you. Or not, but it just gives you that option to be able to get freedom back. And at the end of the day, this is why we've all set up our own businesses, to have that freedom. An org chart isn't just a blueprint for delegation, is a blueprint for delegation. It's not just a head count. So it kind of is a map basically of how your business is today and how it's going to potentially grow. So you'll have gaps in that org chart as well. And solo mindset shift, organize your work as if you already have a team, and we'll show you that in a second in terms of how you can do that. But it also future proofs you and gets you thinking, how can I fill these gaps? Do I want to be doing all the marketing or finance on my own? Do I want to go and get somebody else? Does that mean I can free up more time? And we'll see how we can do that. I really like this quote from James Clear from his book around habits. Name slipped me by now, but yeah. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so if your systems aren't there, your goals won't be there either. Atomic Habits is the name of the book from James Clear. The org chart that scales with you. So here we go, from solo to small team scaling org. And this is the journey that most of us are all looking at. Some people want to stay here and keep it as a lifestyle business, and that's perfect. But all of this is still relevant. But if you want to go on this journey, these are the steps we can go through, and all this is relevant for that and building. So this is your kind of org chart, even if it's you. So at the top, you've got you as a CEO or a managing director or founder. And then underneath these things, you've got some duties that you need to do if you're on your own at the minute, Or you can delegate to other people when you might have teams in these. So you've got ops, delivery, marketing, and sales, which could be two teams, finance, admin, and people, or HR, if you want to call it that as well, when you get to a certain level. But at the minute, if you're on your own, you're wearing all of these different hats. You might have some people in these spaces already. So if you outsource your sales to somebody, if you outsource finance, a bit of accounting to someone, if you have a VA, you'll be outsourcing admin. And then likewise, if you've got a team, you'll start to fill these kind of gaps with people who you bring in to help you out as well. Um, but this is kind of basically the org chart that we're looking at in terms of how it could scale. And this is a really good place to start. Even as I said, when you're on your own, have a look at this and just see where you're at, what you're doing. You might have different things added in here for depending on what you're doing as your business as well. But add them in if they're a big category, and again, see how you can fill it. You just need to be sat at the top. This is the reason why you've started this business. It's because you had the idea, you're the expert, you know what you're doing, and you just need to continue being able to do the good stuff that you love doing. Assign your name to each box today. That's your job list, and then replace yourself slowly, role by role. Create a roadmap for that. So create a kind of org roadmap and see where you get to. So reporting lines, not just hierarchy, but flow. And so an org chart and reporting lines aren't just step by steps in terms of, yep, you're going to report to this person, then report to this person. It's all about the flow of where information decisions are made and who's responsible for what. And so all charts are about accountability. At the end of the day, it's not ego. It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm this high up on the org chart and I've got six people reporting into me. No, it's you've got a responsibility and you've got accountability, as do the people above you and as people below you as well in that org chart. They all have accountability, they all have a role to play, and that needs to be clearly defined. Every role should know who they report to, what success looks like in that role, and how decisions are escalated. And we'll have a look at that bit in more detail later on. But to create a system for this, create a RACI matrix, and we've looked at that in our last webinar. So go back to that one if you want to know more about how to do that. To clarify ownership within each role. So each role should have something called a job description, but also have a RACI, which will mean that they have their own tasks in there and they can be told they're responsible, accountable, consulted, or informed for those. Do that across the whole organization. It'll be running like a dream. So here's an example escalation system, for example. So we're going up in the swim lanes here where you'd normally see the hierarchy, so delivery person or you to the CEO or you. And again, we've designed this so that it can be in context to be just for you as well. So if you're on your own, you are wearing the delivery hat, you're also wearing the CEO hat, and you have a client. So let's just run this through from the top. So yeah, or from the bottom, sorry, my arrows aren't right. But yeah, so scope creep on a project. So more of the good stuff we want, please, down here. So we go up here, okay, you as a delivery person or the delivery person considers if it's in scope or out of scope. You escalate that to the CEO and say, yep, that's out of scope. We need to quote for that. Communicate the costs to the client. The client agrees the costs, you deliver, they leave a great review, and you get more business due to the great review. So see how this goes up the hierarchy of and the org chart, even when it's just yourself as well. So recruitment that doesn't drain you. So this is moving on from okay, we've got the org chart, you're wearing many hats. Now let's move to recruitment. If we want to recruit, and that recruitment can be for a consultant to come in on a short-term basis, for a consultant to come in on a long-term basis, or you're building a freelance team, contractors, or you're building a real team, not a real team, but you know, people who you're hiring as well. So yeah, this applies to all of that. So systemize how you hire before you're desperate. So like in bad relationships, people can smell when you're desperate. When you're trying to go and find somebody out in town, people can smell when you're desperate. Same goes for people who are looking to get a job. Um, they can smell when you're desperate, especially if they're a consultant. They're trained to be able to see that, oh, okay, you need me now, do you? So the price is going to go up because of that. Similarly, if you're desperate, you're going to make desperate decisions, and so you might end up hiring the wrong person. So systemize now before you get desperate. Plan now. So as you saw on that org chart, plan what roles you want to fit now, and you're already planning, and you already have that roadmap and that idea of when all those things are going to happen as well. Build reusable job scorecards, and so going into an interview, you'll have a scorecard which you can like it sounds bad, but rate people on. So out of 10, how much do they understand the job role? How much are they going to be suited? How much do they fit the culture? Things like that. And then you've got something that's tangible to go, okay, this person's better than this person, or for reference later on as well, you can have a look at back at that scorecard if you're hiring for the same role, so you can see what was done before. Standardized interviews with rating rubrics. And we'll have a look at what a rubric is. It's really hard to say, but we'll have a look at one of those in a minute. But again, they're very good for giving some kind of numbers to something, giving context to not just an answer from an interview, but it standardizes the answers and puts them into a framework for you. And use a hiring pipeline. So like your sales, you have a pipeline, use hiring pipelines because basically what you're trying to do is just move them through some gates. So we can use a Kanban board as a pipeline in something like Notion or ClickUp. I've done it in ClickUp before where we've created a whole like information store, a CRM of people who have applied for a job with filters on it. So like we can go in and filter the different job roles. So we've just got a bank of people for any kind of role that we've hired before. So if we go and try to hire someone, make an offer, they get through and then they go all of a sudden. We've got that information banked and they had scorecards as well. So we're able to go back and look for the best ones. We're able to log all the emails because we can connect ClickUp or Notion up to our emails. So all of the information is in there. You'll never lose anything. So a hiring pipeline is golden as well. Template it, reuse it every time, and write role descriptions before the person. So don't mold your role description around the person, write it before so you know what you're looking for, but don't be influenced or by the person. You want to remain quite strict to what you're actually looking to achieve here. And if you get someone who can wear a couple of hats or come in and do something unexpected, fantastic. But stay true to yourself and stay true to your plan. And only change if it's going to be the right change for you. But all of this said and done, when you're using these kind of systems, people can see it. Like when you're going for a job or when you're being a consultant going to somewhere, you can see that these guys are really well set up and organized, and therefore you are more encouraged by coming in because you don't think it's going to be chaos everywhere. You know that they've got a system, you know they know what they're doing, and you know they want you, if that makes sense as well. This is a rubric example. And so we've got different people along the top as the candidates, and we've got a scale. So one, it says they're unsatisfactory all the way up to exceptional. And so if you look at here, cultural fit, you've got Elia and Stephen as fives as an exceptional cultural fit. Then that gives you an average score. So based off of this criteria that you yourself or you and your management team will set, Stephen here is going to be the best candidate on these things that you've scored. Onboarding that takes you out of the center. So now we've recruited someone in our really, really good system. We are ready to onboard them. And what we want to do is take you out of the center of that. So no more just ask me culture. So if you remember having a job way back when, you go into a role and you kind of be like, oh, what do I do? And then there's someone there who's like, oh, if you don't know what to do, just ask me, which is lovely. And that's how you build kind of relationships sometimes. But if you're the owner of the business, you don't want that culture because it's going to start to take time away from you and they're not going to learn. They're just going to get comfortable about asking you what to do, when and why, and just sit on it. So one of the really good systems you can do, and you probably remember this from having jobs, is create a day, one to week for onboarding pathways. So every single day and week, what are you going to be doing? So for the first 4 weeks, we want to kind of get them to learn the ropes, understand who people are, understand the clients, understand the process of what you go through in terms of delivery. So that you can do that within the first 4 weeks and really lay it out and make that drag and drop for each person you're hiring in and make that fundamental for consultants and freelancers as well. Just because you're going to get much more value. Yes, you're going to be spending money on them in the first instance where they're not actually delivering, but you're going to get so much more afterwards because you are setting up the expectations and they understand what you need to do. So they don't need to come and ask you anything after these first 4 weeks. Use checklists, SOPs, Loom videos, set all these up before this person arrives, obviously, but have them as part of an onboarding process. It's one of the most important things you can have when you're hiring someone. And these checklists, SOPs, and lean videos, they just really basically tell the new hire exactly what they need to do and how you expect it to be delivered or how the team expect it to be delivered. So therefore, you're going to have repeatable results, which are always going to be continuously good and what you expect them to be. And if you're a control freak, you can make sure that you've got the control here. And so you're controlling how you want something to be delivered in a certain way. And people will often come with their own ideas that could be better or could be worse, but that's how we learn and grow. As I said here, it gives new hires autonomy from week one. So if they're not having to do everything exactly like you will, they're already getting that autonomy. And often that's something that people love just because they can come in and make things their own and put a stamp on it. So yeah, this is something else that we like to have is an Optics new hire hub, and so like this can just be a Google Drive or something where you have all the access links, training videos, role expectations, first project can be on ClickUp or something like that, where someone just comes in and goes, "Cool, here's everything you'll ever need," and if there's not something that everything they'll ever need, then they can go and ask for it as well. SOPs is your scalable memory. So every business has a brain. Here it is. Yours is your SOP library. That's your business brain. Everything written down on paper. How do I do everything in my business? These are so important. It's unreal. So start small, one process per week. Whatever it is, just write it down. Start small. Use ChatGPT. It's very easy these days. Yep, use tools like Scribe, Loom, or ClickUp Docs. So what we sometimes look and do in Optics is record a Loom video of an SOP, get the transcript, give that to ChatGPT, and then you've got your SOP. We'll often build them out further for clients, just so it's ironclad and really, really good. But that's a really quick way to start doing your processes. Store in a searchable hub, so Notion, you can have SOPs within there, Google Drive, Airtable, ours are all in Google Drive, and you can just search on the top of Google Drive and go, where is the SOP for blah, and anyone can find it. And so I always say, if you do something more than once, document it. If someone asks you a question more than once, document it. And all these things can be documented and classed as SOPs. So building career paths without corporate nonsense. And so this goes towards kind of continuity planning for you, so you can make sure that people are building their careers, but it also means they're not going to leave you as well. So let's have a look at this. Retain talent with structure that grows with them. And so your company is continuing to grow. If you're hiring people, that's an incredible place to be, whether that's consultants, freelancers, full-time, whoever it is. Insanely good place to be. Is so little companies get to this point where they're actually growing enough to hire someone. So you want to retain that talent as well because you put a lot of work into getting them. So your structure needs to be solid with that. So define your levels. So who's coordinator, manager, lead, head, whatever terminology you want to use, just make sure that the person who's coming in knows this is where we're going. So define what they could be in the future, if they could have their own team, what your growth plans are for the business, and see where they kind of take it as well with you because they're part of your team now. So where does their ambition take them, but also you? Add clarity on what's needed to progress. So what are they after you get to know them more, or you might know already, but understand what they need to build on in terms of their skills, experience, values. They already should be a good person, so they'll take all that on board. Share individual development plans every quarter, so make sure that they know what they're going to look for and looking to do. Do it in OKRs, even better. And OKRs we've spoken about before in another webinar. So a system tip is use a shared doc or a ClickUp task for each team member's career journey. And I've set these up in companies before where you can set up one-to-one meeting notes within ClickUp and it generates all of your tasks that you need off the back of that as well. And you can set goals. So you can say, okay, we're going to get to this point in Q1, this point in Q3, into etc. Feedback and systems that actually get used. And so don't save feedback for annual reviews. Do it in weekly one-to-ones, monthly scorecards, quarterly reviews, whatever you kind of fancy doing. However, whatever cadence, don't just do it yearly, do it more often than that. Use a simple template, what's going well, what to improve, what's next, and you put all this into ClickUp, as we said before. Let feedback be operational, not emotional. So don't be tied down with the emotion of something not getting done or someone not doing something for you, be operational. How can we improve that? What can we do to support you? Do you need more people? Do you need more tools? Do you need something else? Do you need a better system? But sometimes it's not the person's fault. It could be the operations fault. So have a look at the systems to make sure that they're getting better. Again, do all of this with yourself too. If it's something that, if it's just you for now, go through this feedback. I do it weekly for me, just to have a look at the week and go, okay, what did I do well? What did I think do well as a retrospective for myself? And I kind of try and continue to learn and fill gaps. So at the minute, I'm learning and reading so many marketing books and finance books just to fill those gaps. So, yep, your scalable plan from chaos to clarity. Start with your current reality. Where are you at now? Map out the roles, even if it's all just you. So, map out what your org's going to look like or think you look like. Build lightweight systems to support each role. So, just put in a system for each one, SOPs for each one as well. KPIs could add in here as well. Document as you go. As I said about the SOPs, do one a week. Invest in onboarding, feedback, and growth because these parts are going to be where you are going to develop your business the most. Structure creates freedom. Build it today for the business you want tomorrow. And that is a really good time to sign off. Here's where we can book in a free ops audit. We can go through all of the stuff we've just covered in there in a 1 hour session with yourself, specialized to your business as well. So let us know how that was. Book in your free audits. And yeah, thanks so much for everyone listening.